What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the economic calendar and some very important things coming up for the market for tomorrow. I'm going to give you guys a little preview about how I'm looking at the markets going into CPI. Before I begin to have all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just say a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100 to the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000 to the account, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks. And this offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's going on with the markets. Looking at SPY, this thing was up about 0.4% as of right now, testing 476, trying to break above this. We're looking kind of bullish right now. SPY is making higher highs and higher lows. But I just want to warn you guys about something very important. Now, I don't really care about what the market is doing right now because we only have 1.5 hours left of the trading day. The market's going to close very soon, and this is going to be your last chance to exit any trades and exit any positions when it comes to scalping and such before CPI comes out. And that's not financial advice, by the way. So what do I mean by this? On Thursday, which is tomorrow, an hour before the market opens, we have CPI coming out. Please note the consensus is expecting a slight increase in CPI. We're also expecting a slight decrease in core CPI. So this is going to be very mixed. I think the report is going to be very mixed as well. And we'll see if this causes the market to bounce or if the market ends up dropping. So you want to be very, very careful with this. One thing I'm going to be noting is the VIX is in a very critical position as well. As you know, when the VIX goes up, the market tends to go down. And when the VIX goes down, the market tends to go up. The VIX has been dropping for the last couple of days as the market's been pumping. But here's what you want to be watching for. Is the VIX about to bounce? Are we about to see this thing turn around because of CPI or something completely different going to happen? Two possibilities. We have this blue trend line on the VIX. If CPI ends up causing the stock market to tank tomorrow morning, the VIX could see a surge in volatility and start bouncing like this, right? And this could start another downtrend for the markets. Or what could happen is we don't bounce yet. We kind of like come down first. The market gets one more rally as we see the VIX come down to this liquidity zone, and then we get a bounce later on. It happens like much, much later on like this. So we're going to be watching to see which ones end up being the case. Will the market get one more temporary relief rally and then the VIX bounces later as the market sinks, or will the market just sink from here? That's what we're going to be watching for tomorrow. All right, I'll go into more details about all of this later on in my later afternoon video. But for now, please note that the SPY right now is pushing. We're approaching we're at 476.5 already. We're basically approaching 477, getting very close to it. We're looking strong. We had this bullish wedge that developed. As you can see, we were touching this multiple times, and I warned you if we ended up breaking this resistance, we're going to be seeing a nice push. The market's squeezing, approaching CPI. We're starting to see a little squeeze. But this doesn't guarantee anything as we're trying to make a full recovery. Doesn't guarantee anything about tomorrow, so just be very careful. If you guys are playing calls, as you saw this breakout, excuse me, this is going to be a very good opportunity to take profits. If you haven't already, not financial advice. If you want to hold through CPI and you're betting CPI is going to cause us to go higher, that's your choice as well. You never know what's going to happen, but just be very, very cautious during a time like this. I just want to give you guys a warning. SPY is favoring the bulls, trying to push up, continuing to hold. Just broke above 476 in real time. On the 30 minutes time frame, I just want to mention that we're looking pretty strong right now. Same thing on the 4 hour. We got a nice bullish crossover on the PPO. It's still holding up. So we're in a very nice power phase. We're still pushing up. Going to be looking for that 477 test if we get above 476.5 and continue to hold above it. For support, now we have 476, 475.6, followed by 475. Make sure you watch these levels. As of right now, not too bad from SPY. Now, as far as the QQQ goes, I just want to mention that the QQQ is looking pretty decent right now. We have a very, very nice uptrend. We're basically very close to filling this gap since we managed to break above 408 to turn bullish. We broke 406. I said if we broke this, we could turn bullish, then 408 is our next level. Now we're approaching that 409 to 410 resistance because that's where we have this unfilled gap. So if we look at the QQQ on the daily time frame, you will see that we had this unfilled gap up here, right up here, right? There's a gap up here. It's trying to fill the gap now. It's trying to push up. Nvidia ended up becoming even stronger than expected. I thought this thing might be stuck between 540 and the other level. Instead, we actually broke above it again. Nvidia is still showing life, so it's not ready yet. And we're approaching this 550 area. We're getting closer to it. I think that Nvidia has more potential. It's still looking bullish. Hasn't broken down yet, and the market is getting bought up approaching CPI. So just be very, very careful. But like I said, QQQ is approaching that 409 to 410 resistance. Watch it very carefully around there. And just know the market is going to close soon. This is our last chance to take profits if you want to. If not, you could take the risk of holding through CPI. You could make a lot of money. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. For Nvidia, this thing hit this resistance. It actually got a little bit above 545, so it's actually close to 546. Our next target above that could be very close to 550. Nvidia is still holding up. We have support right here around 542, 540, 538-ish, around there. Then below that, we have this 534 to 533 area. So Nvidia is still holding up, trying to push up to break this resistance. There's no sign of this actually collapsing yet. I thought it would be kind of range bound because of CPI, but we're actually pushing up because the whole market is getting bought up. We're seeing buyers stepping in, approaching CPI, so we'll see what this causes for tomorrow. And expect some high volatility. If you were playing Nvidia, if you played calls as this thing continued to break out, well, that's great and all, but just be careful because of the fact that with CPI coming around the corner, we never know what's going to happen tomorrow overnight, so just be very careful. As far as Tesla goes, let's talk about Tesla. I know I kind of skipped this a little early on. Tesla's looking kind of okay. It was looking very weak in the morning. It made an attempt to balance, came back down. Lots of choppy price action. For the most part, it was stuck between 232 and 234 all day. And just right now, as the market is breaking out, we're starting to see it approach 235. Our next target is going to be this 236.25 zone. It's trying to push a little bit higher. So watch resistance on Tesla right over there. And then on at this 235 resistance, we'll see if this could break. It's trying to get above its 200 EMA. So if CPI comes in lights tomorrow, this could help Tesla try to get back above 238. If CPI is a bust and it causes the whole market to collapse, there's going to be a risk of Tesla losing the 200 EMA on the daily and closing below it. If that happens, that's going to be very bearish. So just be very, very careful. But that's it for now, at least in terms of like Tesla. The last one I'm going to be talking about basically is Aapl. Aapl is showing a little bit of life. For the most part, it was technically doing what I talked about, how it would be range bound. It still is technically within the range right here. I said that for the majority of the day, Apple's going to be between 184 and 185. That is what played out. Now at the very end of the day, Apple's trying to break above 185, approaching resistance. We have some resistance, very, very minor resistance at 185.25. There's also 185.58. But if we get above that, I could see 186. But I don't think Apple's going to push that high. I think it's just going to remain in the range. But for now, showing a little bit of life. We could just try to see this thing hold up. And when we watch to see how Aapl does after CPI, is Aapl forming kind of like a cup and handle? Are we about to see kind of like a bullish wedge? We are forming kind of like a wedge right here, which could lead to a break to the upside. So I could see that as a possibility. Technicals look a little bit more bullish on Aapl. We're forming a cup and handle. So there's a risk of Aapl pushing up to 188 plus and launching the market higher. But at the same time, with CPI, there are also lots of traps and you never know for sure. If we turn bearish, you want to see Aapl basically lose 183.5 and 183. If that's the case, we're going to be looking for a move to the downside. So I'm open-minded. I'm very, very unbiased when I say this. Wait and see what happens tomorrow. Even though Aapl looks a bit more bullish from a technical standpoint, I'll be patient and then we'll see what happens. So with that being said, please know, once again, this is our last chance to take profits, exits. If you don't want to be playing CPI or hold overnight for CPI, and it's all up to you guys. So take care. Sometimes you can make crazy money playing CPI. Sometimes you may not. It is risky, but you do you guys. It's all on you. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. And I hope this analysis was quite helpful. Get ready for CPI. I'm very excited anyways. Thank you guys so much for listening and peace out.